I broke the economy of New Horizons. Nintendo thinks they won. They think they could just reduce the interest we earned on our bells through our ABD so that we can't time travel to just gain money. But that wasn't enough. They haven't met me, and they don't know what I'm capable of. It started out with a simple question. What item makes you the most bells? This is the question I am constantly asked, even now, 4 years later, when the game is dead. The only way to fully decide how successful one specific item is to fill up an entire island, obviously. You can't just sell one. When you're doing a study, one data point isn't enough. But wanna know what is enough? 6,721 data points, because that's how many empty spots are on my island, including the beaches and the dock. So I filled up my island multiple times with different objects, with help from others, thankfully. Would less have worked? Probably, but if you're gonna go all out, you better go all out. Now, I did fill this island with secret ways that Nintendo would not be happy about, but this was for science, and science is important. But I totally could have filled this island up with eggs after playing Bunny Day for 2 days, let's be real. However, it was easier to fill up my inventory through treasure islands than spending hundreds of hours playing the game the way it was intended to get everything. Even though I love exploring this world and interacting with all the villagers, this was never going to get done if I didn't have a little help. A world I do love to explore? The world of today's sponsor, Tamagotchi Adventure Kingdom. I'm not joking when I say this world is fun to explore. It's huge. I wasn't expecting a cute game in the Tamagotchi realm to have such a large map with a ton of NPCs to interact with and do quests for. They took our childhood toy and reimagined it into a game that fits into this cozy genre of games that we are all obsessed with. You can explore by foot, train, and fast traveling through the beautiful world. Around every corner is a Tamagotchi character waiting patiently for you to get items that they need to help you unlock more areas that you can explore. You play as the adorable Mamechi. I mean, just look at him. How could you not love him? And you're joined by other party members to aid your quest. Like most of the cozy games out there, Tamagotchi Adventure Kingdom allows you to decorate your camp. And there are some really nice furniture items here. And this game goes way above and beyond what I was expecting. One mechanic I love is the recycling mechanic. Instead of just throwing out trash you fish up or find around the world, you can turn it into recycled material and use it to craft. Way better than just having a bunch of completely useless junk in your storage. And I love to harden this game too, because that's how I play cozy games. Start playing Tamagotchi Adventure Kingdom now by downloading through the link in the description or scan the QR code on screen, and you'll receive a free month trial for Apple Arcade if you've never subscribed. Download now and get exploring. Now, back to exploring our own very tiny island. Though this island doesn't feel tiny when you're trying to fill it completely with random stuff, the first thing we did? Turnips. From the outside, this seemed like the best way to make money, especially if you have a good turnip sell price for the week. People were obsessed back in the day. Turnip profit and turnip exchange were everyone's best friends. I was religious with checking my prices twice a day to find my trend for the week. Unfortunately, these set prices aren't anything you can rig by time traveling. The second you start going backwards, all the prices change, and you have to start from scratch. And your turnips rot, so there's that problem too. But back to the present, we started buying and dropping pockets full of turnips around the island. After a few hours, we were done, and then it was time to time travel to a day with the highest price and sell them all. Going to someone else's island wasn't really feasible with the number of turnips on the island and waiting for 8 players to load into one island so they can sell at Nook's Cranny. Yeah, that would have taken like extra hours, probably. Thanks, Nintendo. Maybe make a better multiplayer next game, please. Thankfully, I had a somewhat reasonable price, and by reasonable I mean at least making a profit at 134 bells per turnip. Nowhere close to the max of 660 bells that you could possibly get, but you know what, I'll take it. While this did end up profiting millions of bells, filling the whole island wasn't really worth it. That doesn't mean turnips aren't a good source of income, you just have to be aware with the risks associated when dropping a ton of bells on a ton of turnips. Especially when sites like Turnip Exchange don't have your back anymore if your island happens to have a bad sell price week. Turnips. Honestly, pretty good way of breaking the economy. If you're lucky. Another item everyone was constantly telling me to sell, blue roses. Besides the fact that these are time-consuming to breed initially, they do sell pretty well for a flower. And you all know flowers in New Horizons, these things multiply like crazy, so I figured filling up an island with them would be a piece of cake. It wasn't. It took forever to water these things. I went through a lot of watering cans. But you can pick the heads off of flowers, sell them, and then let them regrow, so it's like an infinite money glitch. With virtually no cost, except maybe watering cans on days when it doesn't rain, these things are pretty good. I netted around 6 million bells with each harvest. Now, you're not filling up your whole island, but if you have a large area and you don't know what to do with, and maybe you need an extra few thousand bells here and there, just fill it up with flowers. Specifically the blue ones, or the gold ones. You'll have a constant flow of money and a pretty little spot. After posting the blue rose video, a ton of people suggested crafting them into blue rose wreaths instead. Which makes sense, crafting items in New Horizons does tend to increase the sell price of the resources used. So, I sounded like a good option. But crafting in this game, it's not the best. Also, I just didn't have the recipe either. I searched and searched and searched for many hours and came up with nothing. I was trying to do this as legit as possible. So I may have ended up taking a trip to an island full of treasure to see if they had a recipe I needed. And after a few tries, I found it and got to crafting. And crafting, and crafting. While the reef sold for almost 16 million bells after enacting the Bell Boom Ordinance, and while it does seem worth it, 6 million, 16 million just for hours of crafting, yeah, the crafting just wasn't worth it itself. But it's almost like an infinite money glitch because those flowers regrow, you pick them, you craft them, you sell them, boom, you just always have money on hand. But I guess it's less annoying if you already happen to have the blue rose wreath recipe. The other way I get a ton of money every day? Money trees. I'm usually pretty religious with growing these. I always have one ready. This isn't the video that tells you how money trees work, that's in another video that's in the iCard if you're curious, but I got to time traveling and planting 10,000 bells in each gold spot and waited. Again, if you want to know why 10,000 bells, check out that video. It explains everything. I don't want to do it here. There were a couple issues that came up with planting these trees. First, I used a lot of shovels. Second, the trees needed a square of empty space to grow, so you can't fit as many on the island as blue roses or turnips. And third, holy crap, this lagged my island. Turns out trees are pretty graphically intense. After glitching out my island and shaking all these trees, we ended up with a profit of over 27 million bells. There's a barrier to entry with this one though. You do need to invest bells to plant and grow, which in this case ended up being 13 million bells. Not cheap. Only the rich get richer, apparently. But this is a good way to make bells in New Horizons. I'd say it was definitely worth it, minus all the glitching. It broke the economy easily. These trees only take 4 days to grow, so it's a quick turnaround time. Highly recommend. Maybe just don't fill your island with them unless you want to experience all the lag. Finally, and this one hurt, oh god, bunny day eggs. These things are everywhere during bunny week. I figured it would be pretty easy to fill up an island with them, but filling up an island is never easy since there's so much empty space. And these babies stack up to 30 at a time instead of just the usual 10 that other items can stack to. Learning from the blue roses though, I did end up crafting a ton of these party dresses to sell from the eggs instead of just selling the eggs plain. And boy, oh boy, did I make a ton of bells this way. With the Bell Boom Ordinance, the total came out to over 96 million bells. 96 million from eggs. Are you joking? Eggs broke the economy. Who would have guessed? Not me. If you want bells, don't skip over Bunny Day. That's the secret. I've stopped being annoyed at the stone eggs whenever I'm looking for iron and an egg just pops up. These things are practically better than gold. Obviously, you're not going to be filling your island with these items, but it was a good test to see what's worth your time to collect and sell. I haven't filled the item with all the things. Kind of got old after a while, but there are great ways to make bells during normal day in New Horizons. I have a whole video that breaks it down, but for the most part, turnips if you're lucky, plant your money trees, find your money rock. Check out what the hot item of the day is at Nook's to gain extra coin for your crafting troubles, and don't forget the Bell Boom Ordinance with Isabel, and then, fishing. Craft bait if you want. For now, enjoy New Horizons while you can, because there will be a new game in our hands, probably somewhat soon, and by soon I mean at least in the next couple years. But who knows, it's Nintendo, we could see a new Animal Crossing sooner than that, or way later. What's your favorite way to make bells? That doesn't include going to treasure islands and grabbing all the crowns that you can get your grubby hands on. Let everyone know in the comments below, and I'll see you next time. And don't forget to download and start playing Tamagotchi Adventure Kingdom like me by downloading the game through the link in the description or scan the QR code to have a great time playing Tamagotchi Adventure Kingdom. Bye!